Adolf Hitler is remembered as one of the most infamous figures in human history. His name has become synonymous with dictatorship, war, genocide, and destruction. Yet Hitler was not born a dictator. Like every other child, he had dreams, ambitions, successes, and failures. His transformation into the leader of Nazi Germany was shaped by a combination of personal experiences, political instability, economic crisis, and his own extreme ideology. Understanding Hitler's rise is not about admiring him, it is about learning how a democratic society can collapse. When fear, propaganda, economic hardship, and political extremism come together. Adolf Hitler was born on April 20, 1889 in Brunei in Austria. His father, Alois Hitler, was a strict customs official who expected discipline from his children. His mother, Clara Hitler, was loving and deeply cared for him. As a child, Hitler was intelligent but stubborn. He loved history, architecture, and drawing. Unlike his father, who wanted him to become a government official, Hitler dreamed of becoming an artist. The relationship with his father was often difficult. Alois wanted obedience, while Hitler preferred following his own ambitions. After his father's death in 1903, Hitler became even less interested in school and eventually dropped out. In 1907, Hitler moved to Vienna, hoping to study at the Academy of Fine Arts. He believed he had talent, but the Academy rejected his application, saying he lacked the skills required for painting. The rejection devastated him. He applied again the following year but failed once more. Soon after, his mother died from cancer, leaving him emotionally broken. Hitler spent several years living in poverty in Vienna, surviving by painting postcards and sleeping in homeless shelters. These difficult years had a lasting impact on him. During his period, he became increasingly interested in German nationalism and absorbed many extremist political ideas circulating in Vienna. In 1913, Hitler moved to Munich, Germany. He admired Germany far more than Austria and believed that all German speaking people should belong to one nation. When the World War began in 1914, Hitler volunteered for the German army. He served as a messenger on the Western Front and was known for his bravery. He received the Iron Cross for courage, something that remained a source of pride throughout his life. Germany's defeat in 1918 shocked Hitler. Millions of Germans felt humiliated by the Treaty of Versailles, which forced Germany to accept responsibility for the war, surrender territory, reduce its military, and pay enormous reparations. Hitler believed Germany had not been defeated on the battlefield but had been betrayed by politicians and other groups inside the country. Although his belief was false, it became central to his political message. After the war, Hitler worked for the German army as an intelligence agent. In 1919, he attended meetings of a small political organization called the German Workers' Party. His speaking ability impressed its members, and he soon joined the party. The party was later renamed the National Socialist German Workers' Party, better known as the Nazi Party. Hitler quickly became its most influential speaker. His powerful speeches attracted people frustrated by unemployment, inflation, and Germany's political instability. One of Hitler's greatest political strengths was propaganda. He understood how speeches, symbols, slogans, posters, newspapers, radio broadcasts, and mass rallies could influence public opinion. The Nazi Party used the swastika as its symbol, organized huge public gatherings, and presented Hitler as Germany's savior. The Nazis promised to restore Germany's pride, rebuild the economy, create jobs, strengthen the military, and overturn the Treaty of Versailles. These promises appealed to millions of desperate Germans. By 1923, Germany faced hyperinflation and the economy was collapsing. Believing the government was weak, Hitler attempted to seize power in Munich, Bavaria. His plan was to capture the Bavarian government, march to Berlin, and overthrow the national government. This event became known as the Beer Hall Putsch. The coup failed. Police opened fire. Several Nazis were killed, and Hitler was arrested. He was charged with treason. Although convicted, Hitler received a relatively light sentence and spent less than a year in prison. During this imprisonment, he wrote Mein Kampf, My Struggle, outlining his political beliefs. The book promoted extreme German nationalism, racial theories, anti-Semitism, dictatorship, territorial expansion, and the idea that Germany needed a single powerful leader. Although not widely read at first, its later became the ideological foundation of Nazi rule. After leaving prison, Hitler realized that violent revolution had failed. Instead, he decided to gain power legally through elections. The Nazi Party recognized, expanded across Germany, recruited new members, and built organizations for youth, women, workers, and veterans. However, throughout the 1920s, the Nazis remained a relatively small political force. The Great Depression, everything changed in 1929. The Wall Street crash triggered the Great Depression. Factories closed, banks failed, businesses collapsed, millions Germans lost their jobs. People became desperate and lost confidence in traditional political parties. The Nazi Party promised jobs, national unity, economic recovery, and strong leadership. As conditions worsened, more and more voters turned toward Hitler. Nazism transformed from a small movement into one of Germany's largest political parties. By 1932, the Nazis had become the largest party in the German parliament, although they still lacked an outright majority. Many conservative politicians believed they could control Hitler if he became chancellor. On January 30, 1933, President Paul von Hindenburg appointed Adolf Hitler as Chancellor of Germany. This decision would change world history. Soon after taking office, the building caught fire. The Nazi government blamed communist opponents. Using the crisis, Hitler persuaded the government to suspend civil liberties and arrest political opponents. The Enabling Act of 1933 gave Hitler the power to make laws without parliamentary approval. Germany rapidly transformed from a democracy into dictatorship. Opposition parties were banned. Independent newspapers were shut down. Trade unions were dissolved. Critics were imprisoned. Fear became a powerful tool of government. Building the Nazi state, Hitler established complete control over Germany. The Gestapo secret police monitored citizens. The SS became one of the regime's most powerful organizations. Joseph Goebbels controlled propaganda, ensuring that newspapers, films, schools, and radio spread Nazi ideology. Children joined the Hitler Youth, where they were taught loyalty to Hitler above all else. The government tightly controlled education, culture, and public life. Rearmament and expansion. Hitler rebuilt Germany's military despite restrictions imposed by the Treaty of Versailles. Large public construction projects reduced unemployment. Many Germans believed life was improving and supported his government. Hitler then pursued territorial expansion. He reoccupied the Rhineland, united Austria with Germany in the Anschluss, and later occupied Czechoslovakia. European leaders initially followed a policy of appeasement, hoping to avoid another war. The beginning of World War II. On September 1, 1939, Germany invaded Poland. Britain and France declared war on Germany 2 days later. World War II had begun. Over the next several years, German forces conquered much of Europe. However, Hitler made critical strategic mistakes, including invading the Soviet Union in 1941 and declaring war on the United States. Germany eventually faced overwhelming opposition from the Allies. One of the darkest chapters of Hitler's rule was the Holocaust. The Nazi regime systematically persecuted and murdered approximately 6 million Jews. Millions of other victims, including Roma people, disabled individuals, political prisoners, prisoners of wars, and others targeted by the regime was also killed. The Holocaust remains one of history's greatest crimes against humanity. The fall of Hitler. By 1945, Germany was collapsing. The Soviet army surrounded Berlin. Rather than surrender, Hitler remained in his underground bunker. On April 30, 1945, Adolf Hitler died by suicide. Germany surrendered and a few days later, ending World War II in Europe. Conclusion: Adolf Hitler's rise demonstrates how economic hardship, political instability, propaganda, nationalism, and authoritarian leadership can combine to destroy democratic institutions. He did not become a dictator overnight. His journey involved years of political organization, persuasive speeches, exploitation of national crisis, and the support of millions who believed he could restore Germany's greatness. His rule ultimately led to World War II, the Holocaust, and the deaths of tens of millions of people. The story of Hitler serves as a warning to future generations about the dangers of hatred, extremism, unchecked power, and the erosion of democratic values.